more. So tell me, I mean, in terms of like the chronology of your story, okay? Tell me from the moment you guys were together and decided you wanted something more than just being together, and why?
Well, we met online, and we immediately figured out we both wanted to have children. So apart from the initial attraction, I think we knew straight away that we wanted to be a family, and it was love at first sight with this one. So I was like ready to pop the question as soon as possible, and I asked her to marry me, and she said yes, very quickly. So it all happened sort of within months of us meeting each other. And then our best friends phoned us up one day and said, we want to talk to you, and they called us across and sat us down and offered to be sperm donors, which was a great shock. And immediately we said, yes please. So we started trying, fell pregnant the first time, and it was a case of like a shotgun wedding, because we were in, you know, we wanted to get married before we had the children. So we got married when you were 5 months pregnant.
Yeah.
So our son was there with us at our ceremony. Well, we say married. I know it's civil partner, but we think of it as married. And so yeah, that's 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I was getting trouble with that.
And why do you want to move to the next step then, from having had a civil wedding? Why do you want a marriage, a full marriage, if that's not the wrong phrase?
The thing is, why can't I? What makes me different? What is it that makes me different that says I cannot be married in a church, for one thing? Am I allowed to go and worship there?
Does it matter to you? I mean,
Are
you religious? Does it matter to you from a religious point
We're
of view?
both from Christian backgrounds. We want our children to grow up believing in God. You know, we want a place to worship. And if we're going to go and worship and be welcomed there, why can't we marry? You know, everybody else is allowed to marry. Are we second-class citizens because we're gay? You know, it's just little things like that. It's nothing huge. I'm not precious about it. It's a great blessing to be able to be civilly partnered even, and have that legal right to have children. I don't have to adopt her. She's legally mine because she was born in our relationship. And that's a great thing compared to other places in the world. You know, it's a blessing, a real blessing, but there's still that little tiny bit that says you're different from us and you can't get married in the church.
Do you think it's going to help the church, help the Christian flock in some ways by having gay weddings? Because there are those who argue that actually it's going to undermine the church.
Yeah, there's all this thing about it undermining the church and redefining families, etc., etc. But in actual fact, the whole world is changing. I mean, in the olden days, people paid for their wives, they bought their wives. That's out of date. You know, in 20, 30 years' time, when they look back on us, how will they see us? What kind of progress? Will this be a revolution in the gay marriage world? You know, we need to think about that kind of thing and how we're creating a future for our children.
Do you think it might persuade some people in the gay community who might have seen the church or religion as being anti-gay? Do you think it might help change their minds about the church if gay marriage was to be accepted by faith groups?
I think it certainly would change their minds, because there is still the stigmatism about being gay and being in church. Some churches openly welcome gay people, some churches make it clear that gay people still need to be saved and, you know, change their ways to be a Christian. But I think, you know, it swings and roundabouts. At the end of the day, there's going to be two different views. And my opinion is live and let live. If your opinion is you're gay and you can't come to my church, fine. Let me know and I won't go there. I'll go to a church that wants me. It's just as simple as that. And I think, you know, when churches settle down and just open their doors, it will take away some of what's the word I'm looking for? It'll take away some of the issues that gay people have with church. You know, break down those kind of things.
So you think it might help actually persuade the gay community that the church is maybe more on their side or becoming more open to them?
Yeah. I think that's going to be an important issue in times to come, because the church is an institution in its own right. You know, and when they open their doors to everybody, or not, it will make a clear stand one or the other.
Very good. Thank you very much indeed. Is there anything else you want to sort of say? How will it make you feel, having had the civil partnership, to then go and have a marriage? Will it be any different, or will it just be as wonderful as the first time?
I think there will be an added layer of something special in that, because we do believe in God, and we do love each other, and we would like to be married. And do you know, our children, my son, really finds it important that we should be married in church. Very often when we pass a church, he'll say, "Is that where you got married, Mummy?" And we always say, "No, we didn't get married in church, son. We got married in the court." And he wants to be at our wedding ceremony in a church. I don't know why it's so important to him, but as a 5-year-old, he would like us to be married.
Yeah.
And he actually came home from school the other day, and he said, "Mommy, girls can't get married to each other. Only a boy and a girl can get married." And at 5 years
How
old,
did you feel to hear that?
it was disturbing, because he goes to Church of England school, and I thought initially that may have been something that they were taught, and I discussed it with his teacher the next morning, and they haven't actually covered the subject. So it was just his peers and himself discussing, because obviously they talk about two mummies and all that sort of thing, and obviously one of the kids in his class said, "You can't have a girl and a girl," and because another kid said it, that's gospel. You know, an adult tells a kid something, they don't believe it, but when another kid tells a kid something, they believe it. And it took us a while to actually convince him. I was like, "Here's the picture, son. See, we did get married." And he just couldn't get it. See the dog snoring. He just couldn't get it, you know. He's like, "But only a boy and a girl can get married." And we pointed out all our, you know, gay friends. These two guys living together, they love each other, they're married, we're married, and he's settled on it now. But he certainly said he really finds it important that we get married in a church.
That's great.
That's really good.
That's very. I think that's a very, very telling story.
This is why she's on.
That's a very telling story. That's brilliant. And also Rocky's got
He's gone, absolutely gone, isn't he?
What's he doing down there, my little pumpkin?
Yeah, exactly. You've got 3, haven't you, really? Brilliant.
You're lucky we didn't bring out the rats and the hamster.
No, you're right. I've got some friends who've got.